Say what's up, Coach.
Just hanging out, Santa Monica track.
It's just you and me.
Yeah. JP
It's just you and this guy right here and all these people. Man.
And Kevin Costner just went by.
Did he?
Yeah.
Miss Costner. I saw Mr. Ball over there.
No, Mr. Ball's not here today.
Oh, he's not? Never mind.
He's in Lithuania.
Lithuania.
Yeah. So Mr.
Hey, never mind Lithuania. Tell me about Sochi, Russia, and Murat Gassiev. How impressed are you with Mr. Gassiev's performance?
Oh my God!
And tell me about Dorticos too, because Junior Dorticos, he earned a whole new level of respect from me.
No, he was good. It was an incredible fight. The event, the whole thing was great. Watched it on YouTube. It couldn't have been better.
Yeah, and yes, Tom Loeffler is in Sochi, Russia.
Yeah, so Tom won't be here today. We let him off, and JP's working on a movie, and they're working Sundays.
Yeah.
LeVar Ball said he'd love to be here, say hi to everyone, but he'll be back in a couple of weeks.
Jacob says good morning.
Hey, Jacob. Anyway, the fight yesterday.
And Barbosa Box has joined us. Of course, it's not the same without Mr. Barbosa. Mr. Barbosa, we are talking about Murat Gassiev's scintillating 12th round knockout of Junior Dorticos in the semifinal to the World Boxing Super Series Cruiserweight Tournament. And my God, what a fight.
But you know, I was the most impressed with Murat's defense.
Yes.
I mean, he never got hit. The way he just like, with his elbows and arms, and the way he just like deflected everything. And I thought he won almost every round. I know everyone gave the other guy the first 4 rounds, but I didn't. That's
correct, yeah.
Because he didn't do it. You know, he
was busy, but he wasn't landing.
Yeah.
You're talking about Dorticos, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing, Murat, I mean, I gave him those rounds on his defense. The kid is just, I mean, he's way beyond maturity for that age. I mean,
it's not just maturity, it's smart. And Barbosa Box says, what a way to follow a plan. And Krostovsky says, I expected much from Dorticos. Well, I did too. I thought Dorticos would actually be the one to mix in the boxing with the slugging. But I think he just really believed that he could knock this young man out. And he was hell-bent on doing so, and thought that he could get that knockout by the middle or late rounds if he kept pressing, but he got sucked into Murat's trap. And I think Gassiev might be smarter than he is powerful or physically strong.
Well, plus he's got Abel.
Yeah. I
mean, Abel won that fight. I mean, but the kid, Murat's in incredible condition. He reminds me of Triple G a lot.
Yeah.
Really a lot. I know they train together, but he just even looks like Triple G to me a little bit. And I don't know if you noticed.
Ryan Scalia says Abel Sanchez does it again. Yeah.
That was incredible. But the kid, and then after the fight, the way he handled himself, you know, he was composed, very composed afterwards.
He is mature beyond 24 years. I mean, goodness gracious.
But I thought the other guy from Cuba, I mean, he fought a great fight. He's really tough. You never could count him out until the very end.
True.
Because, and the thing is that Murat, that he really, you know, he had a lot of discipline. But he's really strong.
Barbosa Box says it's not the same without JP, and I agree.
Yeah.
I would love to hear JP's. We'll have to ask him next week. Hopefully he gets some time off of work.
Yeah.
But I am curious, because I know he bet Gassiev.
Yeah, big
and,
time.
And knowing JP, he was probably sweating bullets right going into the 12th and final round.
Well, I had Murat so far ahead.
You know what? I did too. I gave every round to Gassiev, starting with the 5th round. I gave him every round, but like you said, I still thought Dorticos was dangerous until like the 11th round, and then I was like, you know what? This guy's had the fight beat out of him, but his willpower was still there. It was Dorticos. He was the valiant side of the sport, and I think Gassiev was the science side of the sport. But there was a lot of guts and mixed in with his poise.
No, but he's really strong. But strong mentally, and you can...
Barbosa Box says, get the rope going. The sound is a part of the show. Well, that's true. And Ryan says, Robert Hoyle had it 6-5 Gassiev going into the 11th.
Wow.
Yeah, Hoyle, I don't know. I don't think it should have been that close after 10 rounds, but whatever. You know what? Should Gassiev apply more pressure starting from 5 and 6? Krostovsky, I thought that I thought that Gassiev really began in earnest in round 5 and began to apply gradual pressure in round 6, 7, and 8, and then starting in round 9, he applied his usual smart pressure. And Alessia says, hello from Russian. Hello from Russia. You are awesome. He's probably talking about you, Coach, but I'm gonna turn this over to you and grab my get my rope going, because
I'm gonna try to get this going. So
Barbosa box is correct. I'm being lazy.
Y'all need to do.
You guys watching this should be skipping rope as well.
Oh shit! I can't read this.
Oh.
Hold on. How does Gassiev do it? Heavyweight? I don't think so.
Biting off a little more than he could chew, I think.
What
he's
next?
got short arms. He's
what
kind of
next for
dude.
Matisse? Retirement? Should tell top 5. Oh, tell 5. What are your top 5 sports films?
My top 5 sports films? I don't know. Raging Bull, Rocky, Field of Dreams, Longest Yard, the original Longest Yard with Burt Reynolds. There you go.
Oh, here was.
How's that?
Hoosiers?
Hoosiers? Yeah.
Well, actually, I got to tell you.
Wait, there was a hockey film with Paul Newman.
Yeah.
What was that called?
Slapshot?
Yeah, was it called Slapshot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
Happy birthday to Oscar, someone said.
Oh, yeah, it is Oscar's birthday.
Yeah. Okay, so that's one of my questions. How old is he?
How old is Oscar de la Hoya?
His birthday is...
Yeah, he's got to be in his 40s.
His birthday's today.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is he?
Got to be in his 40s. Let me see. When he was in the Olympics... When Oscar was in the Olympics, I was 22. And I'm going to guess that he's 2 years younger than me. So I'm going to say 46.
Yeah, 45.
45, okay.
Okay, now it's someone else's birthday. Ike Iwabuchi.
Oh, my God. The president?
Yeah, and how old is he?
Jeez, I don't know.
His birthday was Friday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Iwabuchi is... Iwabuchi was in his prime. He was in his absolute prime in 1999. So I'm gonna say he was probably like maybe he was like 26. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say he's 46 or 47.
45.
45.
Say, hey, so him and Oscar are born 2 days apart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. I got one more birthday. Yesterday's, February 3rd. Emil Griffith. How old would he have been?
Griffith would have been 80?
Exactly. Very good.
Because he was in his 70s. I know he was in his 70s when he passed away. Yeah.
So one thing I want to tell you, got to read the Ring magazine with Lomo on the cover.
It's April 2018 edition. Year-end awards.
Hey, I got to tell you, the thing is, I mean, the magazine's sensational. The colors, the pictures.
The texture. Don't forget the texture.
The texture of the papers.
No,
it's seriously, it's really good.
It's quality paper.
I mean, this magazine, it just comes out at you. And
if you drop acid or take mushrooms and you feel it, it's
no, but
that's a whole experience.
And it's a quick read.
I'm joking.
If you
don't
want.
do that.
I just went through the pictures.
Yeah.
And this, sort of skimmed through the stories, and the magazine's excellent. So
thank you.
I didn't read it before, so I can't tell you how much of an improvement.
Brian Hardy.
But Brian Hardy.
Lamar Clark is the creative director, the art director, and Tom Gray.
Yeah.
The associate editor.
No, the magazine's excellent. Guys. It's really, really, really good. And
Brian and Tom put together the digital edition, which is also excellent.
So I know the digital's good, but the hard copy, it's really good. And it's like a collector's item almost.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what they should be, right?
Hey, it's got to be. I mean,
right.
I'm going to show you Kevin Costner in a second when he's.
Okay.
He is so fast.
These two are good.
So
they're strong runners.
But Kevin Costner.
Yeah, where's? I didn't even see him come in here.
Yeah, he's going the other way, but he warms up forever.
Yeah.
He runs to the track for I don't know from where I see him coming down Pico sometimes.
Oh, does he?
He runs over here, then he gets in the track, then he warms up for about a half hour, and then he starts doing
he
his
glides.
sprints.
Once he starts, he glides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was telling me
Dances
that,
with wolves, man.
He was telling me that in his prime he could do the 400 in like 54 seconds.
That's good. That's hauling ass.
And he still does it.
There we go. Here we go.
Here he is. There he is right there. That's Mr. Costner. Look at him. And he's just warming up. That's part of his half-hour warm-up routine.
Oh, he's magnificent.
But here's Mr. Fisher.
There we go. I'm inspired by Tom Loeffler.
Right.
To do like the doubles and the crossovers.
How do you like that? Tom Loeffler, I mean... Yeah,
keeps his feet together.
He goes to a coach, you know.
You think so? No, I think that's a holdover from high school wrestling.
No, he's going to someone. He's putting us on. No, he couldn't be that good. And I don't think it was him. I think he had someone. He had someone standing in for him.
Well, you could do that when you're a big promoter, you know.
Wow, that was good.
Hire somebody to do that for you.
So here's okay. I'm going to ask you this: on February 1st, 1965, it was a non-title fight.
Oh yeah.
And it was in New York City.
Yeah.
And it was the highest grossing non-title fight in the history of boxing up to that point.
Non-title fight in 1965?
Yeah, and both the live gate and the theater TV.
What?
It was on, and it was a non-title fight.
No title was on the line?
No, heavyweights.
Heavyweights?
Yeah.
65?
Yeah.
Well, the heavyweight champ at that time was the young Muhammad Ali. But it wouldn't have been him.
It wasn't.
Where did this fight take place?
Madison Square Garden.
A heavyweight fight that was a non-title fight in a blockbuster, a box office. Who else was a player in the heavyweight?
Two big names.
Shoot, man. Hold on. Let me think. Hold on. They had to have been good names. Who was big in 1965 outside of Ali and Liston? Because 64 and 65 was their first and second fight, right? Was Floyd Patterson involved?
Yeah.
Okay, so Patterson was popular.
Yeah.
He was a very popular champ.
Yeah.
Floyd Patterson. Getting, long in the tooth by then. Okay. So who could have...
someone's just named...
Was it George Chuvalo?
Yep.
Did we both get it?
You got both of them. I can't...
Yeah.
I'm having trouble reading this. I'm sorry, but a guy did say...
Who was it? Who got it, though? I'm curious. That's a good one. Was it Mike Brown?
I don't know.
Might have been Mike Brown.
I couldn't see it. It's too small.
So, but am I right? It's Patterson, Chuvalo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they were popular. Shit.
So how much do you think it took in the live gate, and how much in the
no
theater?
idea. I mean,
this is in '65. This is a record. Wait, there's Mr. Costner, right there. He's just warming up.
Yeah.
That's what he does. Does that for about.
We should tell him that when somebody asked me about my favorite sports films, I named Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
That'll make him happy.
How about Tin Cup?
Yeah, I never really watched that.
Yeah.
It's golf is like another another world.
You got to watch the golf tournament today.
Yeah, why?
It's on. Oh my God!
No, I mean,
it's
like
called
what makes it
Waste
special
Management, and it's in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And they have stands. They have over 200. Yesterday, over 200,000 people were there, and they built these stands around the 16th hole.
Yeah.
And everyone's drunk. They get there like 5 in the morning so they can get seats.
Do they get rowdy?
Totally.
Fans?
They're screaming, yelling, and it's exciting.
That way, right?
I know, but this one hole,
these two.
and it's on CBS this afternoon before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
There's a Super Bowl today, Doug.
Okay.
And anyway,
I actually know who's in the Super Bowl, which is rare.
Even if you don't like golf, you got to watch this. It's really exciting.
All right.
Very exciting. So anyway, the live gate was 166,000, which is a record.
It's a big deal. Yeah.
And the theater TV though was 600,000. That's huge.
And by the way, people, this is why Bob Arum got involved in boxing. He started looking at those closed circuit numbers because it was the sport was being investigated by the government.
Yeah.
They were thinking of,
and he was working for the government.
Yeah, he was going through the books though.
Yeah. He saw the numbers.
Going through like Chris Dundee's books, you know. They're like, wait.
And who was his first fight he ever promoted?
Muhammad Ali.
Against who?
Matter of fact, it was the next year. It was Ali versus Chuvalo.
Right.
Speaking of George Chuvalo.
Right, exactly.
Wow.
So another thing,
about
$600,000 in 1965.
I know.
That's pretty good.
So Bob Arum's stepson was on the three knockdown rule.
Yeah.
That's Todd DeBuff. So Todd DeBuff. Bob Arum married Todd DeBuff's mother, and Todd DeBuff grew up in Las Vegas. Was actually the ball boy for the LV basketball team.
I blame this rope, people.
With Tarkanian. Anyway, it was an incredible interview. Todd DeBuff is so sharp. Wow, and he's a good guy. He's a
he
great
had two
guy.
Sharp interviewers, though. I got to tell you, Mario and Steve are
they were good.
Excellent interview combination.
They were, but I mean, Todd DeBuff really knows his stuff. You got to listen to it if you get a chance. It was good. Okay, so here's one. February 2nd, 1960.
Yeah.
You could call it A Star Is Born, Phoenix, Arizona, on national TV.
1960.
Yeah. This guy wins the WBC featherweight title, 13th round KO, became a huge superstar.
A featherweight?
Yeah. You know
Phoenix?
it. For sure, you know it.
Are you sure it was 1960 and not 1980? In Phoenix? I didn't know Phoenix
shit.
was
You
doing
know
business. And Phoenix wasn't a fight town in 1960.
I could have screwed up.
Is it Salvador Sanchez?
Yeah, was that 80?
1980.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but let me just tell you that it wasn't my fault.
Joe, you
It's
can't
never
trust
my-
the internet, man.
No, it's my fault. It's
Okay.
my fault.
Let's blame the internet.
I'll take
anyways.
the blame. Okay. Wow, how
Part
could I
of what
miss
it's there
that?
for.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm just checking.
That
this-
was Danny Little Red Lopez.
Yeah, right.
No, that's good. Keeps me on my toes.
That was their first fight,
Yeah.
and then they fought again. And what round did he knock him out? It was his knockout in the second fight too.
They were both late knockouts. The
Yeah,
first one was in
yeah.
the 13th round.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say Lopez lasted one extra round,
Yeah,
14.
I think so. Yeah, it was.
But here's the thing: if you watch those fights, and by the way, Salvador Sanchez was 21 years old when he
Yeah.
won the title. He's amazing. He's an incredible technician, but he was kind of tight. And then in the second fight, he does 14 rounds like a walk in the park against a murderous puncher.
Yeah.
And he's in even more control, and you could tell in his body language he's relaxed, and he kept that throughout his Hall of Fame championship run.
What was his record going into the first fight?
I don't know. He only had one loss.
Yeah.
I'm going to say he was something like, I'm going to say like 38-1, 39-1, something like that.
Anyway, I see the questions
Because
coming in.
I think he had 46 pro bouts. I think his final record was like 44-1-1. Maybe there was a draw in there.
Here's
So
someone,
maybe his record was like 36-1 or something.
Who was the
or
loss?
35-1-1.
Who was the loss
There's
against?
some dude in Mexico,
Yeah.
when he was like
16
16. Yeah,
Or-
and
or-
he avenged it.
or maybe 13.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, well, that's the whole, like, when people get all caught up with the records and all, and like, well, it's like that record, he compiled that record before the age of like 23.
Yeah.
44-1-1. He's in the Hall of Fame, and it's like, people are like, well, he has a loss, so what?
It's good.
It's good, but it's like he didn't have like an amateur career,
How
you know
about
what I'm saying?
Marvin
It's
Hagler.
yeah, he had a couple of losses to
Yeah.
real guys,
Yeah.
and he avenged them.
How about
Who gives a
Loma?
shit? Exactly. That loss was the best thing for him.
Yeah, all of them. Because then all they're doing is trying to protect their
I know.
unbeaten record.
Absolutely.
And then it
They
totally screws them
shortchanged
up. Yeah.
themselves. That's what happens.
Floyd.
Floyd shortchanged himself.
You know,
The best thing, he would have been, I'm telling you right now, he would have been 20% better than he turned out to be had he lost that first fight to Castillo, which would have been
Yeah.
just. I don't care what anyone says.
Were you there?
Yeah, of course I was, man.
Who won?
I scored it for Floyd, 1 point.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But I didn't have an argument with anyone who had it for Castillo. Then I watched it on HBO and I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
Castillo won this fight. yeah. I gave Floyd some late rounds he did not really earn.
Okay, here's one. Okay, February 3rd, 2001. This fight, this guy, he wins the WB. He retains the WBC super lightweight and wins the WBA super lightweight.
This is a title unification fight?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, what was the year?
2001.
2001?
Right, in Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas.
The guy who won it, big name, won a KO in 7. He won. The other guy, was pretty big name at that time. But
Okay, so one guy was a WBC champ, and another guy was a WBA champ.
Yeah.
What was the weight class?
super lightweight.
Super lightweight.
Yeah.
What's up, Samir? How you doing? Hey, good to see you.
Hi, Samir.
I thought I was
How you doing?
Gennady
That's Samir.
Golovkin's #1 fan. Samir might actually
Yeah.
have me beaten for that. There's actually, in recent years, Golovkin's acquired a lot of hardcore, dedicated fans. So I'm no longer the guy.
So Samir, who did you watch the fight yesterday?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
That was a great fight. Gassiev?
Yeah.
It
Wasn't
was
that good?
amazing.
Yeah.
I was screaming,
Yeah.
especially that 12th round.
Oh yeah, I was.
Oh, my God.
I had goosebumps. I was shaking.
Yeah.
But the
believe
whole
it.
fight was good.
I think everyone in my apartment just got scared.
Yeah.
Someone was getting murdered because it was a crazy fight.
All the
So
cops.
I'm very excited about the May fight.
Yeah. Who do you like?
Usyk and I don't know. See, that's the thing. I'm not sure who's gonna. It's a 50-50 for me.
That's
I
a-
like Usyk.
Gassiev. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But does he have his work cut out for him?
I
we'll
like
see.
I like
Yeah.
Meillard. I like he was really good yesterday.
Yeah.
So what stream did you watch it on?
So Facebook first, then YouTube.
Yeah.
But before that, I tried some Russian websites,
Yeah.
like the official channels.
Yeah.
But overall, YouTube was the best stream.
Yeah.
YouTube, yeah, it was
that,
good.
That was a good stream.
And the announcer was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that guy? Hey, people at home,
That
Ryan, somebody
announcer.
tell me who's the play-by-play guy, the solo commentator for World Boxing Super Series? Real tall British dude. I think McIntosh is his last name, or
He was good.
McIntosh.
And he does do the
He's
interviews
sensational. He
afterwards.
does everything.
Was he a fighter?
I don't know. He could be. I mean, his insight is so good. Here's the thing: he's got that excellent energy that the blow-by-blow, play-by-play / host needs.
Yeah.
But his analysis is spot on, as the British would say,
Yeah.
and he's good in the ring, interviewing
very good.
him post-fight. So he does like 3 or 4 jobs, and he's great. I
So
mean,
who
he's-
was a famous guy who was announcing fights in LA who would do it solo? And it was incredible. And if you watch the first
He's
Palomino Muniz
right, he's-
fight, you'll see he's
I forget his name. Is it Jim? Something.
yeah. Jim Healy.
Jim Healy. Yes, I don't know why I
Incredible,
forget that,
Jim
yeah.
Healy. So you been a boxing fan a long time?
Actually, just recently, I would say since 2014.
Did
Yeah.
you say that Golovkin made you a
Yeah.
fan?
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, well, I'm from Kazakhstan. For those who,
Yeah.
no one knows that. So hello, salam Kazakhstan. So yeah, I was like, well, this guy is knocking everyone out. Oh, let's check it out. So
Yeah.
I remember with my friend in Santa Barbara in some Irish bar, I think, and I was like, all right, let's watch the fight. So as soon as I saw how he does it and
Yeah.
how he just knocks people out, I was like, all right, I'm a fan. And so I was just watching every fight after that.
Yeah.
I watched all the videos on YouTube right away. So I'm the dedicated fanboy, as people say on Twitter.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an accountant / finance guy at a charitable nonprofit
Yeah.
here in West Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So,
And how long you been in the U.S.?
for 9.5 years.
Yeah.
Samir gives out good advice. If you follow him on Twitter,
Yeah.
Oh yeah?
I think you do.
On what?
I don't know, cryptocurrency. I've seen you
yeah.
tweet
Oh,
something
yeah.
about Bitcoin.
Oh, are you big
I
on
don't
Bit-
understand it, but I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? I bet you
Well,
if I was a little bit smarter, I could take this knowledge and do something with it. But
Right.
I mean, other people out there,
Yeah,
could help
yeah.
them.
A lot of people are freaking out right now. I wouldn't call what I say an advice, but
Yeah.
I would call it an opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, take it off your own risk. If
So
you-
what do you think about Bitcoin?
I think based on what I'm reading from much smarter people than I am, that it's gonna go all the way down to 2,000 before it skyrocket all the way up to 100,000, and then maybe 200,000. So
Really?
that's what they say, and based on what I'm seeing, it is a revolutionary technology. So maybe it will work
Yeah.
out. I have a little bit of money there,
Yeah.
so we'll see.
Well, JP has a lot of money in there.
Yeah.
He got paid. Have you
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
JP?
Yeah, I know.
He couldn't
I saw
make
the
it
ones.
today, but JP took some of his winnings in Bitcoin,
Oh yeah,
and so he's holding it. But I mean, it's like,
I have a funny story with that. I wanted a PlayStation since I was 5 years old. That was like my childhood dream. My parents didn't buy it for me, and then in high school I still wanted to get one, but I was like, alright, this is a waste of money. Right now I wanted to get one, didn't want it because it's a waste of money. So I placed the money in Bitcoin, and when it skyrocketed in December, I got all my profits out and got myself that PlayStation for that money.
Oh, good.
So I got myself a, yeah.
You deserve to
little
reward
price.
yourself. Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
PlayStation expensive?
Well, what is it? It's like $400, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, still, it's like, do I
Can't
want to
you
spend my
use
own
it
money?
to stream TV though on?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's so
You
so
don't
much
just
better.
have to play games on it.
Yeah,
Coach. You can
and
do a lot.
by the way, I'm not advertising for PlayStation.
So do you have cable at home?
Not yet, not until
No.
they pay you.
So so guys, how old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay, so guys your age aren't into cable.
No,
Not at all.
That's just weird now. If you're gonna
Yeah.
have cable, I mean, some people do it still, our age, but it's just
Yeah.
there's no need.
This is the last time I'm going to have cable. I let those Spectrum idiots talk me out of, because I was so frustrated with AT&T Uverse,
Yeah.
and they knew it, and they came in like, oh, ours is going to be so much better, and it's a little bit worse. So I'm like, okay, this is, you know what, this whole concept, this whole cable thing, it's stupid to be, it's just, it's
Yeah.
outdated. I should not have, like, the next step, our next step in home entertainment, it's going to be all streaming. I just got to find the right, you know, the right package, the right player, whatever.
And pretty soon,
Do it that
no
way.
one's going to own a car.
Yeah, I mean, with all the automated driving.
Everything's changing.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
I mean, that's what's hurting ESPN right now. All the cord cutters, cable cutters. So it's all, but it's all good. I love cable. I get all the East Coast feeds.
You have
live.
DirecTV.
I have DirecTV.
So you're not cable, you're satellite.
Yeah. Well,
It's different.
you
And
think
it's
so?
a different category. I mean,
Okay, well-
but it's the same companies, right?
But I get all the channels, but I get all the networks early. I get them 3 hours early,
Sure, that's cool.
which is pretty good. I like it.
But yeah, it's funny you mentioned ESPN. So they are owned by Disney, and I'm following their stock, or I used to, and all they talk about is how ESPN is losing its subscribers.
Right.
And that's how, and their stock was constantly in the struggle because of
Right.
that. So cable cutters are a big deal, on the market overall.
You know, ABC is buying Fox now,
Huh. Okay.
so ESPN and Fox are going to have the same owners.
Hmm.
So it's interesting, but everything changes. I mean, like, do you think Blockbuster's going to come back?
As something like a vintage, kind of like how we have all these throwbacks, all this down the memory lanes, all the remakes.
Yeah.
Maybe someone will reinvent Blockbuster. Like Kodak, for example, just issued their own cryptocurrency, and their stock just skyrocketed from like penny stock
Yeah.
back to like
So are you
90%.
active in the stock market?
I wouldn't say I'm active, but I'm watching it.
You're interested.
I'm just interested.
Yeah.
I'm more of a passive.
Where'd you go to school?
UC Santa Barbara.
Oh, good.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Not bad.
It's a great school, beautiful. It's
How do you come down from that?
exactly. You don't. You just stay
Yeah.
there.
So you look like you work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
It's-
do you
it's
do?
What I do. I just lift weights and
Yeah.
No boxing?
No box. I do want to try it.
We got to take you up to Big Bear.
Yeah. I was like,
I'm due. I haven't been in a while. I'm going.
I was
Definitely
telling my
this camp.
girlfriend, so I was like, "Hey, so Golovkin's gonna train in Big Bear. How about we gonna sneak into Big Bear? I like sneak into Big Bear, like go to Big Bear, rent a cabin and all that, and then I'm just gonna go run there, so that I can casually just like kind of meet
Yeah.
Golovkin while he's running.
Yeah.
It's like all this like
You could do
fan
that.
thoughts. Like I was like, I'm such a dork, That's
That's
it's
a
just
good thing.
embarrassing.
You're not the only
No,
one who's had
that's-
that thought.
no, that's good.
That's the thing.
Well, Doug saw Triple G spar with Canelo.
Oh, that article
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
amazing. When you did your
Here's the thing: when I first put it out, no one gave a rat's ass.
Yeah.
Neither guy was anything.
Yeah,
There's
that's
this-
your claim to fame now.
There's this BS hype job out of Mexico, and somebody totally
Yeah.
unknown, and no one gave a rat's ass about. It's
Yeah,
funny.
who couldn't speak English.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
But no, when I read that one, it was just like, because I was so hyped up because of the fight. Like, finally, I was counting the days and all. And then his article about their training, like several years ago, and I'm just reading it like crazy, and I'm sending to all of my friends, like, look, this is like the preview and all. So that was great.
So who'd you think won the Canelo Triple G fight?
Oh, that was Triple G, of course.
Yeah, big time.
Big time.
Yeah.
So
That was it. He won it. I was there, and I thought it was pretty close when I was there, but I watched it on TV, and Triple G won maybe 9-3. I mean, it was an easy fight, and I don't know, what's your theory on what took so long to make the rematch?
I don't think it was so long. I'm okay with this how it all progressed. You know, now Cinco de Mayo and all that.
Yeah.
The rematch. I don't know. It was good enough time for me to kind of like calm down and like make my peace with it. And now there's a rematch, and I can like, you know, be hyped again.
So you weren't as angry as JP was.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm new to boxing, so I'm not sure what are the timelines. So I am fascinated by the actual business side of it.
Yeah.
And how do you promote the fighter, like as you look at it as an investment, and you know how do you make sure that your fighter performs and make sure that he sells the seats and all. So based on what I'm seeing right now, Canelo Triple G, I mean, everything is according to what it's supposed to be.
See, I think I'm more interested in the second fight than it was in the first.
Oh, yeah.
Because I thought Triple G would just roll right over him in the first fight.
Right.
And Canelo, who I don't love that much, but I do respect, I thought fought an incredible fight.
I tried to tell Coach. I
Yeah.
tried to tell him.
He was
Tried to tell him it's not a walk in the park.
It wasn't, and I
Neither
really
will the second fight.
I thought that Canelo had an incredible game plan. He held to it. And
I gotta say though, I enjoyed Canelo's face when he was all tired and he was angry, like in the second part of the fight, and I was like, yeah, Canelo, that's what's up. This is how you fight till the very end, you know, 12 rounds and all, the Triple G. I mean, he was so tired at the end and frustrated. That's how I think. I might be mistaken.
So did you notice yesterday?
Yeah.
Canelo needed that.
Yeah.
You need to do it, and then you know you can do it.
Yeah.
So do you think Canelo will do better in the second fight than he did in the first fight?
I think he will. I think both fighters will do better, and that's why it's such an exciting fight.
That's really exciting.
And but it's funny, my girlfriend is Mexican, and I'm from Kazakhstan, and so we're just all like, you know, when all these posters are up, you know, in the fight, and there's like a Kazakh flag and the Mexican flag, I was like, damn, this should be like we should put it in our room.
Hey, Doug, do you think are they going to have a press tour for this fight?
Of course, yeah.
You know, see, I was thinking about that, which it costs a lot of money to do the press tour. I don't know how much stimulation that does to the gate.
It does a lot. Well,
you think so?
It gets fans excited. It gets them. It just kind of stokes the flames, and then they got to keep it hot until fight time. But the thing is the way they do these press tours now. The promotional company and the fighters themselves, they bring sponsors to the table. So it's not like the promoters are paying for everything. They have to come out the pocket a little bit
like
with all the travel.
Tecati's
but
paying.
yeah, you mean Tecate and Hennessy and I mean and there are sponsors who are not usually affiliated with boxers or boxing, at least on the event night, that will sponsor something like that because it's hitting a lot of different markets.
And that's what they have to do.
You got to think of it that way. They make money with it. I mean, even those fight week streams that you'll see me and Beto and Steve on and stuff. You know, Golden Boy, Tecate sponsors those, so it's not like they're coming out the pocket for all of that. You know? And I don't like weigh-ins, but weigh-ins for these fights are so huge, such international events. They have television stations from around the world, and I mean every major country. They have their own film crew there. They don't just send the talent. They bring their whole production crews there for like 10 minutes total for both of the main event guys to step on there, but they turn it into a half-hour show. It's in several languages, and I mean it's live in Japan.
Multiple languages.
It's live in Japan, and like the host is like their Johnny Carson or Jay Leno, some late night talk show host that's been doing it for 35 years. Like,
so a celebrity.
That's who's there. Like, it's not even a sports guy or a boxing guy. It's like late night with, I don't know, Toshiaki, whoever his name is. You know what I'm saying? So it's a huge deal, and there's sponsors rein in, advertisers.
So why don't you like weigh-ins?
I just think it's a formality. It's the weigh-in should be about making sure the fighters are healthy, that they make the weight, and then move on. Let these guys rehydrate and all. I don't like it. I don't like it when the undercard guys are starving and their faces sucked in and they're passing out, waiting for the main event guys and all.
My favorite.
I mean, that's their fault for drying out in that way, and maybe they need to move up in weight or whatever. But I don't know. I never got I seldom get into a weigh-in. I'm about the fight. I'm not about.
Do you like weigh-ins for club fights?
No.
I love them.
I don't.
I love them. You go in there, they have it in some little room.
Yeah.
And
here in America, it's very chaotic.
Just sort of hanging out.
Yeah.
And then you see all the guys who are going to fight in the preliminaries and then the main event, and it's all sort of very informal. And then when you go to the fight the next day, I don't know, it gives you a whole different feeling about it.
Yeah.
And it's
well, you definitely see who knows who and who's friends within the industry, and that's eye-opening. But I'm always thinking about the fighters. I'm like, I know they're miserable.
Hey, I had one question here I wanted to ask.
I wrestled as a kid, and I know when you make that weight, then you got to stay. Yeah, get on that scale, get off, get some water.
So I just had one question for you. Speaking about Oscar's birthday.
Oh yeah.
Okay, where was his first fight?
The Forum in Inglewood, California.
Right. Okay, and who named him Golden Boy?
John Beirute.
Right.
Who was the publicist for. A former longtime sports writer with the Herald Examiner.
Yeah.
But then he was the publicist for Forum Boxing Promotions, which was owned by Dr. Jerry Buss.
And have you talked to him?
Not in a while. It's been a while. I need to reach out to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to utilize Facebook. That's how
He's the best guy.
That's how you keep in touch with folks who are over 40.
He's a great.
If you don't have their phone number.
So do you actually go to boxing matches?
I was about to say I'm about to go to the Forum for the Superfly 2. I went to the first one. And that was my first time ever going to the boxing match in America.
Oh wow, what a way to start!
You will not be disappointed.
Yeah.
Oh, no, when you were at Superfly,
so I went. Yes.
Yeah.
So I went, and it was
so the bar has
great.
been set very high.
Yeah.
But this will be as good or better. And Tom,
I got better seats just for that. I was like, right, it's worth spending a little bit more money to be a little bit closer. So.
But if this was a different promoter than Tom Loeffler, the fights would have been 2 or 3 times the tickets 2 or 3 times higher than they are.
Yeah.
He really tones it down.
Oh yeah, it was a reasonable price. Yeah.
No, he does.
But he actually sells his tickets.
Yeah, he sells it. So he doesn't give any away. He doesn't have to. But it's going to be a sellout. So was that a good experience for you? The first one?
The first one, yeah. When with my girlfriend, we were like drinking beer, watching the fight. There was one. Where's Rungvisai from?
Thailand.
So
he's good.
So we're sitting there, everyone is a Chocolatito fan. It's crazy. Everyone's wearing Triple G gear, like everyone.
Yeah.
I was like, that was such a great feeling for me as like a guy from Kazakhstan. I was like, these dudes are just all like, and then girls too, like they're supporting like my compatriot. It's like it's so sick. So, anyways. I'm sitting there, everyone is Chocolatito fan, and everyone is like, yeah, Bato, like all that. And there's like one little lady, and she's from Thailand, and she's screaming like crazy because she is all for Rungvisai, and everyone's just laughing at her. And I was like, and every time he hits, she screams like crazy. Everyone he misses or he gets hit, Rungvisai, she screams even more, and everyone was like having fun and making fun of her, and I was like, it's getting a little awkward because I don't want people to make fun of her, and her husband is there too, feeling awkward too. But then, Chocolatita got knocked out, and everyone is just like, oh, and that lady is just like, she owns the whole stage there. It was such wonderful to watch. I think I have a video of that too. But
what did you think about the Japanese kid?
Oh, he was good too.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I need to look into him more.
He went up in weight.
So see how I got into boxing because of that. Like I'm going to all this shows like not related to Golovkin just because I really like the whole.
You might
industry.
as well. You're in the greater LA area.
Exactly.
We've got all these shows.
And now Tom Loeffler's going to have a club show.
Yeah.
Every few months, and it starts in March. He hasn't announced where it's going to be yet, but you should look into that because those club shows are great.
So what's a club show like?
Well, a club show is a lot of guys in 4 and 6 rounders, a lot of guys with their pro debuts. They don't have any like big stars in those shows, but all the fights are action. They're all good. It's just a whole different atmosphere, and it's really good. You're right there.
So it's in a smaller kind of setup?
Much smaller. So it would hold like 1,000 people. So there's a place in Irvine, California.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have that's the first place ever that they had ballroom boxing, where in a hotel and then have it in the ballroom. And it was a guy named Don Frazier who used to be with the Olympic Auditorium and the Hollywood Legion Stadium, and he started this years ago. Every single fight he ever put on for like 10 or 11 years was a sellout. Every single one. And it becomes a habit. He had him once a month. And actually, Doug and I went there to see Valero.
Yeah, Edwin Valero.
Edwin Valero in his 12th fight. I don't know if you ever heard of Edwin Valero, but he was a guy from Venezuela, and he won his first 18 fights by first-round knockout.
That's
And he was
just
incredible.
crazy. Yeah.
I mean, just unbelievable. And but Doug was like the first guy to really recognize him, and he was Doug's boy, and he sad story.
He was a mess.
He was. He got hooked up on drugs, but he was. So when we went to see him, and this was his 12th fight, and with no pressure, and I mean just fighting regular, and he knocked the guy out in the first round, just taking his time.
And you could tell all the dude wanted to do was get out of that first round.
Yeah. And so
And he just walked him down like it was like, I'm going to knock you out.
Then what happened, they went to New York, and Doug went with him. He's going to have his first fight in New York.
Yeah.
And the New York State Athletic Commission found some kind of a brain problem. He had been in a motorcycle accident and had some scar tissue in his brain, and they wouldn't give him a license. And
Coach, I don't think they actually found anything like with the brain scan. What it was is there's a form that you fill out.
Oh.
And they ask you, have you ever had any kind of surgery on your head?
Oh.
You ever had like suffer a head injury that required surgery? And you say, oh yeah, the time I got into a motorbike accident.
Right.
And they're like, is this true? And I'm like, yeah, you're not fighting.
Oh man.
That's just like a law that they have. It's to protect them. You know, it's like a legal thing.
Total
But,
buzzkill.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're a fighter, right? That's just devastating.
Yeah.
But then he fought.
He did.
And,
Well, here's the thing. He never stopped training. He was out of the ring. He was out of the ring for a whole year.
Yeah.
And all he did was train. Like he had a fight coming up in 2 weeks.
And then
He
he
sparred
fought
with everybody and owned everybody in Southern California. And then he came back, I think, in 2015.
And then
with the Japanese
he
promoter.
fought in Tokyo,
Yeah.
and Doug went.
Yeah, that was his first title defense.
Yeah. But before
January 2007.
But what happened was he had never been more than one round, and then he went 2 rounds. He went 2 rounds
Before his title fight.
and then
He
he's
was
fighting.
senior,
That's before his title fight. So now in his title fight, he's fighting a guy, and he gets knocked down in the 3rd round. See, it's all over. He comes back stronger than ever and knocks the guy out in the 9th round to win the title.
Yeah, 9th or 10th. Yeah. He showed me everything I needed to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I that was the dude. I said that this could be the next Roberto Duran.
Yeah.
If he has his shit together.
Yeah. So when Oscar was going to fight Pacquiao, Valero was one of his sparring partners, which they kicked out because he was killing Oscar.
Valero bet a lot of money
Yeah, he
on
bet a
Pacquiao
lot of
by
money.
knockout.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
So do you have you read the new Ring magazine?
No, but I saw the cover with Lomachenko.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, Doug's the editor.
Yep. I have congratulated him.
Yeah.
It's,
And it's a great thing for Ring. It's a great thing for Doug. It's a great thing for all boxing fans.
Absolutely.
I mean, Doug is positively the smartest guy in boxing as journalist by far. Steve Kim is right there. You know who Steve Kim is?
Yeah.
So Steve Kim and Doug sort of been together for a long time, and they're both really sharp. So now, now they're the veterans. You're the veteran,
We're
Doug.
the old guys.
They were the young kids.
I listened to the podcast, the 3 Knockdown Rule.
Yeah.
I have that on subscription now.
Yeah, that's good.
And both of them were in that show, right? You guys discussed, the .com bubble and how they first, built their websites. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was
They
good.
were the first ones to ever, penetrate that medium, so to say.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
I mean, they couldn't even get credentials.
Yeah.
They didn't, they'd put them way up at the top, like the internet. What's that?
Yeah,
You
those
know,
are the big
so-
Vegas shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were in a skybox or in the seats or whatever. If it was a heavyweight. We're
Yeah.
talking about Tyson and Lewis fights, you know what I mean? But I'll give credit to Foreign Boxing. I forget the name of the PR director who filled in for John Beirudi when Beirudi went to Brenner Zeichel, BZA.
Yeah.
Steiner, I think was his last name.
No, Bob Steiner.
Yeah.
Bob Steiner was the.
He just didn't give a crap,
He was a Laker.
But he didn't try to.
publicist.
Right. He didn't try to keep us out though. So,
Right.
he's focused on the Lakers. He ain't focused on boxing. So
Yeah.
it's like, come on in, kids. And then Lee Samuels with Top Rank
Yeah.
credentialed us just like any other media for Bob Arum's shows at the Olympic Auditorium.
Yeah.
And so
The Grand Olympic.
we learned how to cover boxing by doing these local shows that were, I mean, they were a little bit better than a club show. Pretty much was a club show.
It was a club show,
in big arenas, but there were fighters like, you know, Juan Manuel Marquez on the Forum, and guys like Floyd Mayweather.
Barrera.
Yeah, Barrera was already, by the time, Barrera was already a champ. In fact, people thought he was done because of the back-to-back losses to Junior Jones when we were starting to be ringside. But, you know, Floyd Mayweather was on those shows at the Olympic. He fought there 3 times, I think. So you got a glimpse of the future, like the future stars, like legendary type dudes. So.
But these guys, you know, from Europe are so different than like Floyd Mayweather, who was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, he was incredible, but he changed his whole way of fighting, you know. Well, no, he got hit. He just had, was it the Castillo fight he changed?
Yeah.
He fought this guy Castillo, and he was, his whole thing was to preserve his unbeaten record.
Right.
So did you, are you familiar with Marvin Hagler at all?
I read about him.
Yeah, so
know,
he-
like YouTube his videos.
He was incredible. And
I know a lot of comparisons with the Hagler fight and Golovkin-Canelo fight.
yeah, exactly. And Hagler didn't care about, you know, that he lost. It's no big deal. I mean, but he was incredible. And, you know, all these European guys remind me of the mentality of Hagler. So
this is what I heard. So I was listening to, I was watching that video between Mike Montero and you.
Oh, the 10 count.
The 10 count, yes.
Right.
And
We shoot that here in Santa Monica, by the way.
yes,
Hollywood
it's like
Smoke.
some cigars club.
Yeah.
We're in a cigar club. You know, occasionally I'd like to smoke a good cigar.
Yeah,
But
do you?
usually
that's
it's
a good place.
but also it's
Arnold
a hookah.
Schwarzenegger stops in there every now and then.
that's
No
his
way.
building.
I think he owns the
He
building.
he
yeah.
owns the building.
I think Coach is right about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I read about that. He actually was a huge real estate guy before he even became an actor. I was like, what? But that was like, we didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
But I was saying, in that video, you brought up this thing that I was like very kind of like, whoa, is that all these Eastern European fighters come here and Central Asians now fighters come here and there's like a pushback against them and there's
They're not here as the opponent. They come
Right.
here and they set up. They
set
live
up
here.
their
They
own
move
shop
here.
yeah.
They get hooked up with really good trainers. You know, whether it's Abel Sanchez on the West Coast or like Derevianchenko with Danny Jacobs' trainer. Who's our guy? Danny Jacobs' trainer.
Oh, sure.
Rozier.
Yeah,
Andre
Andre Rozier, my favorite trainer.
Yeah, or whoever, you know, they hook up with a Robert Garcia or whoever. They get
Or Diaz.
Joel Diaz, and they get hooked up with these guys, and they've got the amateur background, and they've got that immigrant's work ethic, and they got a lot of hunger.
That's us, immigrants.
Yes, and they're smart and they learn. Like Kovalev with John David Jackson and the old man. I forget the old dude's name. Don Turner. You know, they learn. They add wrinkles to that amateur style, that Eastern European style, and they're kicking ass. And like, there's an old guard. This is all a theory. I mean,
Right.
you know.
No.
But I get this, and I'm not just saying because of certain controversial decisions like Andre Ward over Kovalev or the Canelo Triple G fight. It's also in, you know, I talk to a lot of older commissioners in California and in Nevada, and they shall remain nameless. You know, I don't want people to stop talking to me or whatever. What's off the record is off the record. And even older members of the press, okay? You know, folks that written for Ring Magazine or just other, you know, folks who were newspaper guys when I was just coming up. And they have, it's like they're kind of bristling. They don't come out and say it, but I can tell by the way they talk about, you know, this influx of talent from Central Asia and Eastern Europe. I can tell that they're a little bit, it ruffles their feathers. I can tell. And I can only chalk, because they're not bad people, can only chalk it up to that old, like the Cold War mentality. Like when they were their formative years, what was the Soviet Union, which encompassed all of these countries. You know, it was Russia at the heart, and then it was, you know, all the stands. It was Ukraine,
It was the little guy.
right? It was all these guys, you know, and they were the bad guys. I mean, that literally, our society, just like their society, was conditioned, you know, via propaganda, to hate and fear the other side, and they hold that with them, and like in their minds, it's like the Rocky IV. You ever see Rocky IV?
Yeah.
Rocky goes over to Russia and beats Drago. When you got Andre Ward, an American gold medalist, the last male American gold medalist, going up against, you know, the Crusher.
Yeah.
That's it's like a movie. It's like they're on some level they're rooting for the American, and they're all. And here's the thing: is what I didn't like about the Andre Ward situation. Is all the officials were American.
Right.
And in any other situation, if an American travels to another country, and we see the referee and the judges are all from that country, the first thing we think is, oh my God.
Yeah.
The odds are automatically stacked against the visiting fighter. The fix is already in. I can't believe it. It's going to be a hometown decision. And then when it's a controversial fight on our shores, you have a lot of apologists. You have a lot of people not wanting to call it for what it is. And I'm not even saying, I'm not saying that if you scored that first Andre Ward fight for Ward, that first Ward Kovalev, if you scored it for Ward by 1 point, I'm not even saying you're wrong in doing that, but I'm saying you are wrong if you don't admit that it's controversial.
Yeah.
Because overwhelmingly, like 75 to 80% of the observers worldwide scored that fight for Kovalev. So it's like, at least admit that. Like, admit, like, it's controversial. You know what I mean? But they don't even want to do that. So I think there is. I mean, listen, if I was a manager, and I had a fighter from that part of the world, and he was going into a big fight with either an established American boxer in Las Vegas, or if it's a standout boxer who is promoted by a big American promoter, I'd be nervous as hell going into Vegas. I would try to stay out of Nevada as a matter of fact.
So who do you think has the advantage?
Because I think Bob Bennett comes from that school of, like, the Russians, you know, like.
Did you read what he just said this week?
Oh, about Adelaide Bird? Or we're just moving on or whatever?
No, she's fine.
She's fine.
She's one of the best officials.
But she's not. She doesn't know how to score.
No, it's crazy.
Well, her whole idea of boxing is avoiding confrontation, basically. Which you can do it. You can win a boxing match fighting in that manner, but you still got to land the requisite punches, and she doesn't get that. She's like, she gives you points for just being up against the ropes, and like, she gives you points if you're taking punches. As long as you're trying to avoid the fight, you're the boxer, you win. That's how she sees it.
So do you?
And I'm not just saying that based on Golovkin-Canelo. I'm basing this off like 10 fights.
So you get points for not boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Points for not wanting to fight. Yeah.
Okay.
So do you think Canelo has an advantage in, like a hometown advantage in the second fight?
Of course.
Who's
the bigger star? Listen, Golovkin's a huge star. He's one of the top 5 in the world.
He's not close to Canelo.
But Canelo in North America is the bigger draw.
Right.
He's got Mexico.
Yeah.
He's got Golden Boy Promotions. If they're not the number 1 promoter in America, they're number 2 behind Top Rank, right? So arguably top 2, you know. And listen, it can be subliminal. I'm not saying these guys are all like, ooh, he's with Oscar, so I'm scoring around. It's just like Oscar's a celebrity. He's a legend here. So it's his company, and Canelo is young, 27 years old. He brings a ton of money in the sport. On some level, they're thinking about, like, what's good for boxing? Who has more of the upside? Who's going to be around longer? You know, who's going to bring us business? Who's more? Tom Loeffler does business all around the country and all around the world. He's not a Vegas guy. Like Golden Boy, more often than not, they will go to Vegas because and I don't blame them for it. It's close. It's a 4-hour drive. It's less than 1 hour in a plane. And they have a long-standing relationship. So
no, plus
all of this stuff is in their heads. Let's be adults about this. Let's admit this. So I mean, obviously, yeah, Canelo, that's like hometown. But here's the thing, it would be the same if Golovkin fought Canelo in Texas. Probably be worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't say it's all Vegas. Maybe New York would be, a little more even playing ground because I think Tom Loeffler and Golovkin are a little more established in that market, and they have a tight relationship with the people who own Madison Square Garden Company. But it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be.
Do you know who owns the farm?
Yeah, Madison Square Garden.
Right.
Company, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And you know what?
And they do. Hey, listen, they do business with Golden Boy.
And do you know what
it's all
basketball
good.
team the owner has
The owner of
of the Madison Square Garden?
is it the Knicks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Look, you know your
Hey,
sports
I
stuff.
know my sports. Don't
So you-
quiz me any more than
So
that.
you're gonna watch the Super Bowl today?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Publicly I root for Eagles, but privately
Yeah.
I think Patriots gonna win. So I don't know.
It's interesting.
There you go.
I know Doug's not watching it.
We're going to a museum.
Yeah. You know, it's the best to go out today.
Yeah.
Wherever
yeah.
you go, it's going to be empty.
Family time.
For me, as a third generation immigrant, it's such an American experience to go and see to some bar to see Super Bowl and see all these crazy people getting even crazier.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. It's a celebration. It's a holiday here.
It is.
It's
Right.
Yeah. It's a big deal. So
Yeah, it's huge.
I want to be a part of it.
Yeah. So, anyway, it's nice of you coming by here.
Yeah. No problem.
I should have put your name in the title, Samir.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
We'll do that with the YouTube version.
For sure.
Coach and Samir.
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't expect to be such a huge part of this stream. I thought I'll just stand kind of watch.
Are you getting a sunburn in this?
No.
Your right shoulder is going to be a little
Probably.
darker than your left shoulder. Yeah.
You know, Tom Brady says if you drink a lot of water,
Yeah.
you don't get sunburned.
Okay, Tom.
No, you got to watch it. He's got this
Okay,
thing on
Tom.
Facebook.
You should drink a lot of
He's
water.
got like a 6-part series. It's really good. It's really
Drink
good.
water.
This guy is like, he's so
Hydrate.
together.
Be like great.
No, Brady, I like. Anyway, Dougie, have a great week.
Thank you.
How's your driving?
Well, here I didn't text.
No, but how? Oh, that's good. You mean because you were coming here?
Well, because you always tell us not to text.
No, it's really, you know, we don't want to kill everyone harping on it, but it's really, really important. And I think about it every day because, you know, I have the instinct that when the phone rings, I'm going to at least look to see who it is,
No, that's true.
or pick it up. I pull over to the side. I just listen to myself. It's so important, so important. So the other thing about taking the high road, you always take the high road in everything. And in driving, the high road is, you know, you're driving, some guy wants to sort of pull in front of you, you just let him in. Wave them in. Even if they don't want to pull in front of you, wave them in. You feel great about yourself. And, you know, it's soothing. It's really soothing, and it's a lot safer.
But for those who do not live in LA, you have to understand it's very hard to take a high road here.
It is.
So you have to have a lot of restraint.
It is
You know
hard.
something? I disagree with you guys.
Yeah.
It's not hard. It's easy. It's habit. All you have to do is just take the high road with everything. And here's the thing.
Maybe it'll get easier,
You've probably
but it's
gotten
not easy.
arguments with people, right? You know, once in a while at work or whatever, you get in an argument. Do you ever win an argument? Never.
Yeah.
Never. No one wins in an argument.
Especially via Twitter.
Yeah. That's,
There's no end to that.
You love that,
That
though.
does. I do. I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm trying to get out of the habit of that. I am.
Anyway, everyone have an incredible week.
Enjoy the Super Bowl, folks.
And thanks a lot for coming.
Go Eagles.
Yeah, okay.